So today we're moving on to, oh, I don't want this stuff on the screen. We're moving on to characteristics of quadratic functions. It wants us to graph this and then label the vertex in the axis of symmetry. The vertex is going to be the point where the high point or the low point of the U, and the axis of symmetry is the x value of my vertex. So I need a calculator and 3 people in this class to graph one. The rest of the class should come up and grab one now. Okay, so what I'm going to do to graph this is I go to y equals, and then I'm going to clear out any functions that are there. And I'm going to type in the one they gave me. Then you don't have to clear them out. Wait. Okay, then I type in the function I was given. When I do the negative out front, I want to be sure, I want to see it on the screen. I want to be sure to use the white negative. The calculator does not know the difference between the two negatives. It doesn't know the difference between negative and subtract. You press graph once you type it all in, yeah. It's right next to the green alpha button. Y is given to you. Okay, so once I've typed it in, I'm going to go press graph. I'm going to ignore the dots on my screen. So my vertex is at negative 3, 4. How do I know it's negative 3, 4? How do I know that point right there? Where did I get my vertex from?
From the very top. The top. The bottom one. It's in the equation.
It's in the equation. Remember we talked about this last week? This is vertex form. So it's going to be opposite this sign. And then same as that one. So my vertex is going to be negative 3, 4. I'm going to go ahead and draw that graph I saw. It also wants to know my axis of symmetry. How do I find my axis of symmetry? It's either the highest or lowest, depending on what way it opens up. So this one would be the vertex right there. If it was U-shaped, it would be at the bottom. This is mountain-shaped. So my axis of symmetry is just my x value of my vertex. So my axis of symmetry is going to be x equals negative 3. Questions on number 1? No, man. Okay, so I can also be given equations in standard form. I think I briefly talked about this with you before. So standard form is when it's just highest exponent to lowest. If I want to find my axis of symmetry on these ones, I'm going to use the formula x equals negative b over 2a. And b and a come from my equation. So, do you want me to graph first or find my vertex first? I can't do both first. Okay, I'm going to graph first. I cannot do two things at once. Okay, so then I'm going to type in my equation. And then I press graph. How do I know where my vertex is on this one? What top? There's no top. That's the bottom. I know, but like, how do I know the value of it? How do I know the point? The equation. So, my a value is 3, my b value is negative 6, and my c value is 1. So I'm going to plug into this formula. That's not my vertex, that's my axis of symmetry that I'm plugging into. So then I get x equals negative, and my b value was also negative, so I have a double negative, over 2 times my a value, which was 3. So then I want to solve for x. Negative negative 6 gives me 2 times 3 gives me 6 divided by 6 gives me 1. So my axis of symmetry is x equals 1. And then I need to find my vertex. So to find the vertex, I'm going to plug in 1 into that equation. Okay, so I have 3 times 1 squared, which is going to be 3 times 1. Negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. And then I still have the plus 1 at the end. 3 times 1 is 1 times 1 is 1. So I did the math. It doesn't look like I did anything because it's I was gonna rewrite it. Negative 3 minus 6 is plus 1. Negative 2. So that's my y value. So my vertex is going to be 1, comma, negative 2. Mm-hmm. Why am I so extra? Because you can't always tell on the graph. Mm-hmm. Why did the 1 come first? The 2 came from when I plugged into the equation. Oh, and I forgot to do this on the first one. I need to draw in my axis of symmetry with a dashed line. That doesn't look very well. No, we didn't get it wrong. I just forgot to put in a piece. I did not give you it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then there's another form called intercept form. where it tells me my zeros where it crosses the x-axis in the form it's in. And if I want to find my axis of symmetry, this is the equation I want to use. Can I move on to the back? Okay, so on this one, I'm going to start by finding my axis of symmetry. So this one labeled them P and Q. So for my axis, I have x equals, let me double check the formula really quick. Okay, so over here, P and Q are opposite their signs. When I plug them into the formula, I change the signs. So instead of being a positive 3, I'm going to plug in a negative 3. And instead of a negative, the formula had a plus or minus. It has a plus. Instead of plugging in negative 1, I'm going to plug in positive 1. Because it's opposite the sign. Because if I look back over here at the formula has a negative. So I have to do opposite the sign. Okay? So going back over here, I have negative 3 plus 1, which is negative 2 divided by 2 is, okay, so I have x equals negative 1 for my axis of symmetry. Okay, then to get my vertex, I plug into the formula. Okay, so then I want to do the stuff inside the parentheses first. Negative 1 plus 3 is what? No. Positive 2. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. Okay? I have negative 2 times 2, which is negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. So I have my y value is 8. So my vertex is negative 1, comma 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is this one going to open up or down? Why is it going down? It's negative out front. Questions here?